Beyond the rarely seen images and imagined solitude was a man full of life.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 books that have been hardest to adapt into movies.
The Dark One is coming for your friends.
You don't know for sure, but it's something we haven't seen before.
The book excited hundreds of young, aspiring novelists.
For this list, we'll be looking at the most popular and acclaimed books and series that haven't managed to get the big screen treatment. We won't be including comics or graphic novels, as those deserve their own list. What's your favourite book that you wish had a movie? Let us know in the comments. Number 10. Ubik. There are plenty of great movie adaptations of Philip K. Dick's stories, such as Blade Runner, Total Recall, and Minority Report.
You're in a lot of trouble, John. You set me up.
But Ubik is one story from the sci-fi legend that Hollywood still hasn't gotten a handle on. Set in the once far-off future of 1992, Ubik is a head-spinning mix of psychic abilities, cryogenics, and a mysterious spray called Ubik. It's been named one of the top 100 novels since 1923 by Time magazine. There have been adaptation attempts going back to the 70s, including one in the 2010s from Michel Gondry. In a 2014 interview, Gondry explained the book's lack of dramatic structure was a hindrance. Number 9. Gravity's Rainbow. Even experienced readers can have trouble with Thomas Pynchon.
Hey, over here! Have your picture taken with a reclusive author!
The reclusive writer's work is surreal in a way that makes you have to read sentences multiple times to even begin to understand them.
I'm back.
You're not Dr. Rudy.
While director Paul Thomas Anderson delivered a solid Pynchon adaptation in 2014 with Inherent Vice, we don't know how anyone could adapt Gravity's Rainbow, a novel that could, at best, be described as being about the construction of rockets. But that doesn't even begin to get into how sprawling this story is, with 400 named characters and too many plot threads to keep count of. Any adaptation of Gravity's Rainbow would have to be a pretty loose one.
Gravity's Rainbow.
It's a novel.
Yeah, I know. I haven't read it though.
Neither have I.
Number 8. At the Mountains of Madness. H.P. Lovecraft is one of the most influential sci-fi and horror authors of all time, and his unsettling tales have been adapted for movies like Reanimator and Colour Out of Space. But adapting At the Mountains of Madness, originally published as a serial in the magazine Astounding Stories, has proven, well, maddening. The novella follows an expedition in Antarctica that uncovers an ancient civilization. An adaptation from Guillermo del Toro, starring Tom Cruise, was in the works, but studios reportedly got scared by the lack of a love story and grim finale, and del Toro's desire for an R rating. If there's any director who deserves a chance to adapt Lovecraft without studio interference, it's del Toro. Number 7. The Wheel of Time series. A 14-novel fantasy series is catnip for studios looking to launch the next big movie franchise. But The Wheel of Time, primarily written by the late Robert Jordan, also makes for an intimidating adaptation given its length, sprawling world, and extensive list of characters. Universal optioned the series for adaptation in 2008, but nothing came of it. But while there might never be any movie adaptation of Wheel of Time, there's another format that's better suited for Jordan's expansive world. A TV version, starring Rosamund Pike, is set to debut on Prime Video on November 19th.
The last battle is coming. The only thing that matters is what you do.
And unlike a certain other fantasy TV series, all the books are already finished.
Whatever happens now, there's no turning back.
Number 6. The Griffin and Sabine Saga. A story about two people who have never met, exchanging letters and falling in love, sounds ideal for a movie adaptation. But the Griffin and Sabine saga, originally published as a trilogy in the early 90s, is one that would lose something vital if divorced from a literary context. These are epistolary novels, containing postcards and letters between the characters as they journey through their blossoming relationship. The very act of reading these books is an interactive thrill, with gorgeous and, at times, disturbing artwork, and removable notes to make you feel like you're one of the characters, receiving a message from your squeeze. A movie version could be decent, but the book version is transcendent. Number 5. House of Leaves. Pulling off multiple narratives told from different perspectives is hard enough in novel form. In movie form, it's far more difficult. Mark Z. Danielewski's acclaimed novel, considered by some to be a horror story and by others to be a love story, feels intentionally unadaptable. The story partially involves a family who finds their house has undergone impossible changes in dimension, which would be great to see play out on screen. But the multiple narrators and numerous footnotes make House of Leaves anything but a beach read. Any director who tries to adapt this is asking for a lot, both from their audience and from themselves.
This is the strangest, most exciting, graphically innovative piece of literature that's come out. Well, it really moves the genre forward.
Number 4. Infinite Jest. Want to feel accomplished as a reader? Try getting all the way through Infinite Jest. David Foster Wallace's masterpiece of a novel is more than 1,000 pages of complex narratives involving radical political activists, tennis students, residents in a substance abuse treatment facility, and a family's history. There are also 388 endnotes, and some of these contain their own footnotes. Although it sold more than 1 million copies since it was first published in 1996, we can't envision how a remotely faithful adaptation could happen. There have been rumours of a screenplay in the works, but all we can say is, surely you jest. Number 3. Blood Meridian. Cormac McCarthy is considered to be one of the best modern American writers, and movie adaptations of his books have made him even more of a household name.
Is Carson Wells there?
Not in the sense that you mean.
But the book that many consider to be his greatest is the one that may be the hardest to adapt. Blood Meridian, an intensely violent take on the Western, has imagery that practically leaps off of the page, and one of the most terrifying antagonists literature has ever known, Judge Holden. But though some have tried, including Ridley Scott and James Franco, no attempt to adapt McCarthy's novel has taken off, perhaps due to how grim it all is. McCarthy has expressed interest in an adaptation, but he acknowledges it would be a difficult feat. Number 2. The Catcher in the Rye.
A neighbor described the teacher as a nice boy, always reading Catcher in the Rye.
Few 20th century literary creations have made such an impact on readers as Holden Caulfield, the brash protagonist of J.D. Salinger's The Catcher in the Rye. Though there have been attempts to adapt Catcher going back to the book's 1951 release, none have panned out, with Salinger and his estate both turning numerous potential versions down. There was also nearly a Disney animated version involving German shepherds, kind of like Oliver and Company.
Screw it! Now we got work to do.
Although the story isn't difficult to understand, a hindrance to adapting Catcher in the Rye is the potential loss of Holden's narration, and with it, Salinger's distinct voice.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Number 1. 100 Years of Solitude. Chronicling a family story through 7 generations is just one of the many feats Gabriel Garcia Marquez pulls off in his astounding novel, 100 Years of Solitude.
His novel, 100 Years of Solitude, which was published in 1967, made him a literary star.
He also creates a vivid world with the fictional town of Macondo. Hollywood adapted another of his novels in 2007, Love in the Time of Cholera, but failed to capture the magic of the source material.
Delicious. Absolutely delicious. What is it?
Eggplant.
Given the magical realist style and sheer scope of 100 Years of Solitude, it makes for an even more daunting task. Marquez never sold film rights, but his son, Rodrigo Garcia Barcha, says a Netflix series adaptation in Spanish is in the works. Perhaps a series can do the novel some justice.
Gabriel Garcia Marquez told Perua, "If you don't like it, dump it. I'll forget all about the novel."
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.